This is the throttle body in the engine. It's basically the same as a carburetor, just minute differences are between the two. This is more fuel efficient, is one of them. Another one is pressurized fuel is arriving to this one as opposed to gravity fed. Also there's a whole bunch of electronics involved, monitoring sucking in air or vacuum and the amount of fuel that's given for each combustion. So electronics and detail aside, you would need to measure, you would need to synchronize that all four of them are sucking in the same amount of air. You can't measure the amount of air, but you can measure vacuum, you can measure the suction power, and you're gonna need to do just that. You're not gonna need to remove the throttle body. I did remove it so you can see what I'm talking about, because there's no way I can put the camera in. On this throttle body you have dual throttle valves, butterfly valves. These ones are computer operated and you really shouldn't bug them too much. The computer adjusts these ones, and the other ones are throttle adjusted by these pull cables. Sometimes it's fly by wire or ride by wire. Full throttle on this one. Thank you. Release. And what happens on the underside is full throttle. The butterfly valves open. Close them. Thank you. So on the underside here you can see that gasoline comes in from the gas tank through that line there into this rail where it's spread evenly into all of these four ports or jets. Oops, I caught this thing. Just the last thing. Okay, the jets are sitting here, and let's see if I can get closer to it. They somewhat look like shower heads. Let's see if I have enough light for this, for the camera to focus on it. Yeah, you can see super tiny holes in the middle of that. Yeah, it looks like a shower head. I don't know. There you have it. Oops. There you can barely see 8 tiny holes in the middle of that. So anyhow, that's where fuel comes in, and there's not a lot of adjustments you can do about it. You have to adjust vacuum. You can see 2 holes here where the engine is sucking in air, and then I just covered it so I don't get any dirt into the engine with this Ziploc bags and elastics. So the engine is getting fuel there, and is getting air through the top here from the airbox, and is sucking in air there. You have to measure vacuum through these vacuum hoses. You have to attach your vacuum gauge, and you can see that vacuum line from this one, cylinder 1. This is the leftmost, because this whole thing is sorry, that's cylinder 4. You have a vacuum gauge that's sitting here and is connected with wiring. So that's a gauge port there, but that's the real deal. That's another one that's connected through that tiny hole there. A third one is linked up, and all 4 of them are linked up to that vacuum gauge, whereas this 4th cylinder is also just linked up to one vacuum gauge. And both of these gauges, or sensors, sorry, both of these sensors should agree, and there should be equal amount of vacuum everywhere. And so air is just being sucked into these hoses through there, but you have to adjust the amount of vacuum, and that's done by a small adjustment screw that's on this side, that copper screw, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And this is the fuel side where the fuel comes in from the gas tank, but these screws all lead to that hole there, that hole there, and with this screw you can adjust the vacuum, how much false air is being is entering the engine from here, and is adjust the level of vacuum, because this adjustment screw allows some air to enter through here, not through the airbox and air filter. Something like that would be the idea. And where those screws are is there. That's how it kinda sits on the engine when it's done, and the airbox is on it. So you'd need to hook up your gauge, your measuring gauge somewhere there at the front and adjust it from this side. Something like that would be the idea.